In the summer of 2014, a 28-year-old German man named Lars Mittank went on a relaxing holiday to Bulgaria with his friends. He was happy, healthy, and just like any other guy enjoying a break by the sea. But within a few days, something went terribly wrong, turning this normal trip into one of Europe's most haunting modern mysteries. Today, Lars is known as the world's most famous missing tourist, and no one has seen him since. Lars and his friends arrived in the resort town of Golden Sands, a popular spot on Bulgaria's Black Sea coast. They partied, swam, and soaked up the sun. Everything seemed perfectly normal until one night, Lars got into a small argument at a bar over football teams. Witnesses said he was hit once or twice, and afterward, he complained about pain in his ear. He didn't think it was serious, but the next day, things began to take a dark and confusing turn. Lars visited a local doctor who told him he had a ruptured eardrum from the fight. He prescribed an antibiotic and warned Lars that it was unsafe for him to fly until it healed. His friends wanted to stay with him, but Lars insisted they go home as planned, saying he'd catch another flight once he was better. That was the last time his friends ever saw him. Alone in a foreign country, Lars checked into a cheap hotel near the airport. It was then that his behavior became deeply unsettling. He began sending strange, frantic text messages to his mother. He claimed that people were following him and trying to drug him. At first, she thought he was just anxious or having a bad reaction to his medication, but his messages became more and more alarming. He told her to cancel his credit cards and said he didn't feel safe, even hiding in his hotel room. He whispered on the phone that 4 men were trying to get into his room to rob or kill him. At this point, no one knows for sure what was happening. Some believe Lars was suffering from a sudden mental breakdown, possibly triggered by his medication or the head injury. Others think he was genuinely being targeted, that maybe he had seen something he shouldn't have, or had gotten on the wrong side of the wrong people. Whatever the truth was, what happened next would be captured on camera, and it would shock the world. On the morning of July 8, 2014, Lars went to the Varna Airport to try and fly home. He seemed agitated but was determined to leave. Inside the terminal, he went to the airport doctor's office for one last checkup. The doctor later reported that Lars was extremely nervous and paranoid. He kept peeking out the window and muttering that someone was coming for him. Suddenly, in the middle of the consultation, an airport worker entered the room. Lars's fear seemed to boil over. He jumped up and shouted, "I don't want to die here." Then, he bolted out of the office. This is where the infamous surveillance footage begins. The video shows Lars sprinting through the airport terminal as if his life depends on it. He abandons all his belongings as luggage, his passport, his wallet, and his phone. He runs out the main doors, sprints across the parking lot, and then does something truly inexplicable. He easily climbs over a 2.5-meter tall barbed wire fence and disappears into a dense sunflower field nearby. And then, nothing. Lars Mittank was gone. Despite one of the largest missing person searches in modern European history, not a single solid trace of him was ever found. No confirmed sightings. His phone was off, his bank accounts untouched. He had simply vanished from the face of the earth. Years later, the video of him running out of the airport went viral, becoming a chilling symbol of unexplained terror. The look in his eyes, the sheer panic and confusion, it has haunted millions of viewers, all asking the same question. What could drive a person to flee like that? Countless theories have tried to explain it. The psychological theory suggests Lars had a sudden psychotic episode. The antibiotic he was taking, cefprozil, has a rare side effect of causing hallucinations and paranoia, especially when mixed with stress and possibly alcohol. Or perhaps the blow to his head caused a brain injury that led to his bizarre behavior, but others aren't convinced it was all in his head. Online investigators believe Lars really was being followed. They point to his terrified texts to his mother, his fear of the men at the hotel, and his desperate final words. Could he have stumbled upon some kind of criminal activity in Golden Sands, a resort town known for having its own dark side? Was he a witness to something he wasn't supposed to see? Adding to the mystery, a truck driver once claimed he picked up a hitchhiker matching Lars's description months later, but the lead went nowhere. Over the years, there have been dozens of alleged sightings across Europe, but not a single one has been confirmed. It's as if he evaporated that day in 2014. For his family, especially his mother Sandra, the pain is a constant nightmare. She has never stopped searching for answers, running a Facebook page dedicated to his case and working with investigators to keep his story alive. Every year, new people discover the story of Lars Mittank and become obsessed with solving it. But the truth remains just out of reach. There's something uniquely unsettling about Lars's disappearance. This isn't an old legend. It's a story that unfolded in the age of smartphones, CCTV, and constant surveillance. Yet somehow, a healthy young man managed to vanish in plain sight, leaving behind only a few minutes of disturbing footage and 1,000 unanswered questions. What was he running from? Was it all in his mind? Or was there a real, physical threat chasing him into that field? Did he meet with foul play? Or did he simply get lost, succumbing to the elements? The questions linger, each one darker than the last. Maybe one day, a new clue will surface: a piece of clothing, a phone signal, or a person who finally comes forward with the truth. Until then, the disappearance of Lars Mittank remains one of the most haunting and unexplainable mysteries of our time. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as compelling as we do, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into the unknown. We'll see you in the next one.